we've got three segments of the spine. We have the cervical spine or the neck, which gets split by the thoracic spine, these blue segments here. And this is pretty much just differentiated by our rib cage. And then at the end of our rib cage, we have our lumbar spine. That's our low back area here. At the bottom here is like 5, and this is our sacrum here. So it's like this sacrolumbar area. And if you were to like kind of landmark this area on your back, you're looking at those dimples. There's little dimples behind your back. Those 2 dimples you have there, or our waistband area. L3, 4 here is kind of like our belly button. So if you can draw a point from your belly button all the way back, that's like the middle of our lumbar spine. And then at the bottom of our rib cage here, like the thoracolumbar, you feel that bony part at the top of your spine, at your front here. That's called your xiphoid process. That's more in line with your T8, so it's a little higher up. If you feel all the way down your rib cage and follow that round to the back, that's the start of your like thoracolumbar spine area. And then you can go all the way up to the top here. So like our mid-thoracic spine, we're thinking T5, kind of like that nipple line area, that bra line. And then like T1, 2, kind of like those collarbones. That will be like our upper thoracic spine. You'll see that in our lumbar spine, we have a lordotic curve, so it kind of curves forward. And then on our thoracic spine, we have that kyphotic, this is like that rounding spine. And that's like a primary curve. This is a secondary curve. The main goal with any spine mobility, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You'll see on the spine here, there's 2 areas. There's this one on this side, this one on this side. These are the articulating surfaces. These are where the movement kind of between one level of spine happens between the other. And because of their way they're set up, we're primarily going to get flexion and extension through the spine. Rotation, it's just going to be one side's flexing, one side's extending. That's going to cause that rotational movement. So if we want to get better spine movement, we're always going to look at flexion extension first, trying to regain flexion extension, and rotation will come along. Okay, so that's going to give you an idea. Try and, if you're thinking about when we're moving through stuff, go back to that mental image, go back to that spine image of like, we've got 5 lumbar spine, 12 thoracic spine, 7 cervical spine, and we can try and move them as segments little by little. You're never going to be able to move just one vertebrae. You'll be moving 2 or 3, but some of them will be a little bit stiffer and stuck just naturally between how you move. I'm going to stop sharing this, and then we'll get back into the class. Okay, I'm going to set this back up. Anyone, any questions from that, or that was okay? Okay, so now the best spine exercise is our cat-camels. So we're going to do 2 minutes of cat-camels, and we're going to do about 2 reps. Like, we're really going slow control. I want you to try and imagine each segment moving, okay? We're going to start in that fully extended position here. So each segment's pulling down, and when you're in this position here, I want you to imagine pulling your knees forward and your hands back to give you a little bit more extension through that. So you're not going to be able to see me, so I'm just going to describe what we're doing, and we're going to start that clock here. So big breath in, try and extend more, keep the rest of your spine extending, and start with that waistband, that low back, that SI area. Start rotating that into a flex position. Now, once we start moving that a little bit, now pull that belly button, that middle of that lumbar spine. And then that mid-thoracic, kind of that upper part of that rib cage. Now you can pull that, like that chest line in, tuck that collarbone, keep that chin, and then the last thing to go is going to be chin to chest. We're going to get into more spinal flexion here. So on this side, what I want you to do here is imagine trying to push your hands away from your knees and your knees away from your hands, trying to give you more and more spinal flexion here. Big breath in, try and get as much spinal flexion as you can. Maintain that upper spinal flexion. We're going to start back from the bottom. That lumbar, that low back, that waistband is going to start rolling forward. As you're doing this, you're still trying to create flexion in the upper body. Belly button starting to roll down now. Then you're going to start from that lower thoracic spine, upper lumbar spine. Then your chest is starting to pull forward, your shoulders, and then your last thing to go is going to be neck looking up to the ceiling. Find that like isometric contraction here. So you're trying to pull those hands and knees together. You're trying to get more spinal extension here. Hold, hold, hold. Start from the bottom again. We're going in for rep 2. This is great. That was almost 90 seconds on that one rep. This is good work. Go slow, go at your own pace, and focus on thinking about each spinal segment moving as you're going through here. This is good. Looks great here. Looks good, Patty. Chin to chest. Give yourself that little bit extra isometric contraction at the end there. Get that fully flexed position. Then we're going to go back from the bottom, start rolling to finish the end of that second rep. That's good. Chris looking great. Paula looks good as well. Coming to the end, you're all coming in at the same time here. That was perfect. So in an ideal world, like we'd think this would be a whole class. We'd just do this for an hour, but it's super boring, super not like worth our time. But if you can think about trying to add this into your routine, add this into your day, get the spine moving. 1,000,000 reps would be the goal here. We're going to kind of break this into different segments now. We're going to go through the extension and flexion exercises. Some of this you might find hard to get that conceptualizing of that one area. But we're just going in, we'll go through our cars first, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty, okay? So for this exercise, what I want you to do is find like a flat surface against the wall, if possible. If you've got like a door frame for you, Chris, Paula, I'm not sure what's close by, but like something like a flat surface. So that's our spinal flexion and extension. Now I want us to go through our cars that we did at the beginning where we did those full body cars, but I'm going to break them into the 3 segments here. So as you can see, I'm lined up against my wall here. And I've got my hips are right in tight here. My legs are close to the wall. My glutes are engaged. I'm hugging myself here. We're going to show you that spine flexion here. So if you find your bum pushes you away, that's hip flexion. What we're looking is spine flexion. So we're going to start holding tight, and it's that fruit roll up, segment by segment. You're trying to get that spine to flex as much as you can. Once you can't get any more without pushing your hips away, you're going to rotate as much as you can to one side while maintaining your bum to the wall. Once you get as far to that side as you can, add that little bit of side flexion, pulling that shoulder to hip. Come back, rotate back to center, come back up slow. We're going to do the same going the other direction. So really keep upper body tension. I want this to be a hard exercise. I want you to feel like this is 70–80% tension. Hit that bottom position, rotate the other direction, get as much as you can, side flex, come back to the center. We're just going to do 1 rep more either side. So come back up to top, start rolling forward again. Get more. See how much flexion you can get first. Rotate. Then side flex. And then come back to center and slowly peel yourself back up to the wall before going into that second rep on the other side. So what I'm trying to do with this exercise, I'm trying to highlight how much we can actually flex, how much we can get spine to go into a flex position, not just a hip folding position here. Looks good. Nice work. So now once you've done those 2 reps, we're going to go the other direction. We're going to face the wall in tight. We're going to try and keep those hip bones touching. You can have your arms by your side, or you can make fists by your side. You can keep that chin tucked. And then we're going to go into that extended. We're going to try and peel that spine away. Try to get all that extension off of the wall. Rotate that little bit. Side flex. Come back. Start peeling back up before we go into that other rep on the other side. I want you to go slow though. I went a bit quick there, so I want you to really feel a segment by segment, extending, opening that chest away, and then segment by segment, trying to get that rotation, and then come back. That looks good. I just want to do 2 reps either side. Kind of a weird exercise to do. If you have someone come and walk in, they'll be like, what are you up to? But this is a nice way to kind of get that spine flexion. Looks good. Once you've all done all that 2 reps either side, we're going to just stand side onto the wall. And I just want to show you how much you can side flex. So you want hip, knee, and ankle by the side of the wall. And then we're just looking at that. How far can we side flex? Get all that side flexion here. Slowly come back. So we're just going to do 2 reps there. And then we'll switch sides. Nice. Once you've done those 2 there, we're just going to go add those components back together. So stand nice and tall away from the wall. Stand a bit wider than shoulder width here. And I want you to remember how much movement you got when you're against the wall. We're going to try and do the same thing. So we're getting that full spine flex position, same that you had at the wall. Rotate, get as much of that rotation and that big side flexion that we had, and then roll around, get that big extension. And we're just going to do 2 reps both directions. So we'll come back to center, then we're going to change direction. We will come back to these at the end of the class, so I want you to kind of have that mental picture of how that felt.